So here I sit in my recording chair, having no idea what today's video should be about. And then it hits me. I've been doing this for about 3 months now, which, if you don't know, 3 months to 6 months is what they call the Newbie Wall. That is to say, you've been doing YouTube for that long, and now your enthusiasm is waning, you're not getting the results you were expecting, and your enthusiasm flags, and then eventually you quit. Well, I'm not going to quit. And so I wanted to talk about why I started doing this and what that has to do with why I'm not quitting. And then looking at the ways that I'm better at this. One, to give me some momentum to push through months 4, 5, and 6, but also to encourage any of you who are thinking about taking this very scary and very confusing plunge, uh, to maybe inspire you to keep going past your own newbie wall. So, first, let's talk about why I decided to do this. And honestly, it's easier to talk about the reasons that have nothing to do with why I decided to do this. And they are the ones that are probably the most popular ones that people decide to join YouTube. And that is to become monetized or to get a huge channel that you can use to parlay into another business or leads for something else or what have you. The main reason I decided to do this was to get better at talking and getting used to my voice and my face, and to not be intimidated to share those things with others. Because I do have some goals that have to do with my coaching business and speaking business. I want to get to a point where I can articulate some things that I think people need to hear. Um, like I always say, a goal of my company is not to make $1 million. I simply want to change the world, and that's true. But I can't do that if I'm scared to talk in front of camera. So that's the reason why I decided to do all of this in the first place. And because that's my reason, it makes sense for me to now, in the 3 month mark, to take inventory of how I have gotten better at this. And there are tons of reasons, and it's crazy, like trying to think back to the things that I do now with my setup and how I engage the camera and all of that, that are kind of second nature to me now, that were so foreign to me 3 months ago. First is my space. So just looking at what you can see on camera. So it's a very specific corner of a very specific room in my house. And I have it, everything behind me is tidy, clean, presented in a way that I want you guys to see it all. So got some of my nerdy stuff behind me. See a little bit of the windowsill, a little bit of this artist rendering of my college above me, and me, hopefully relatively centered. Like, this took a long time to get to a point where, okay, this is my setup. This is not going to detract away from the message I'm trying to get out. It's actually going to accentuate that I'm a real person in a real space, which was the whole vibe I was trying to convey in the first place. Along with the space is you have the technical considerations. So the light that I have that is shining into my face. So it's illuminating the face so you can see it as the main thing that you're seeing in this ground. This took forever to get to a point where it wasn't reflecting off my glasses and was doing what I needed it to do in order to show you guys the best version of this. Same thing with the microphone. Still have an occasional little with it that I can't seem to figure out, but for the most part, it's in a good place. It's not obstructive, and I feel like it gives a pretty decent representation of my voice. And then finally, the camera itself poised a little bit above me so that I'm looking up slightly so as to hide all of the evidences of my rapid aging. Um, all of these things were trial and error. Like, you go back to the first few videos and you'll see me looking down and you'll see reflections of my light and all these other things, and the sound was all over the place. So again, trial and error, way better at all three of those things. next up is editing. And while I don't know what future me might do in this space to add credence to that I've gotten better at editing, who knows, maybe some special effects or some weird edits or what have you. But from me in the current tense, speaking about editing, I will say that knowing how long I can go before I need an edit was something I needed to learn, right? Like, how much can I put in my head and talk naturally before I start to slow down and need to cut? And when I get to those places, making sure that I come to a conclusion and, most importantly, have a hard stop with my speaking. So that in editing, and you'll notice that I edited this piece, and that was deliberate. So you notice that it flowed pretty well and there was no feedback. Whereas if I didn't stop properly, there would have been feedback. And then finally, and this is the most important one, is me. So me sitting here talking for minutes at a time to no one, but also to potentially everyone on the planet at the same time. A lot of us have fears when we do this. And this is the advice I give to folks who are just starting out in video content. And this helped me out a lot. So I set up my camera, audio, video, all that, hit record, and I just started to talk. And I talked for over an hour of just whatever was coming to my mind, trying to be mindful of what a normal speaking voice for me sounded like, getting to that energy, and then going back and watching it and living in that energy of my eyebrows doing eyebrow stuff and my voice sounding like it does and my facial tics and my posture and watching the entire hour plus video and just waiting in that energy until it got to a point where instead of going, "Dear God, I sound horrible, I look horrible," instead it was like, "Oh, I do this really interesting thing sometimes when I'm trying to make a point. Maybe I should save that facial expression for when I really want to drive home something." So, teaching myself how to use the voice and face that I've been given to maximize the effectiveness of my message. Oh, and I know I said that was the final thing, but here's the actual final thing. And that is I'm a lot faster at this also. So right now we're looking at, I think, 5 or 6 parts to this that I've been able to kind of bang out extemporaneously at 1 to 2 minutes at a time because my brain is much better at formulating like complete thoughts for camera and complete thoughts for editing purposes and what have you. So rather than my first few videos would take me literally 6, 8, 10 hours to do and edit and have look good and all of that. Now I'm really mindful of the creation process and how it leads to the editing process. And I'm much better at the editing process. So all of this stuff has led to not only me getting the message out better, but also a lot cleaner, more efficient, and quicker. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but go back and watch my first few videos and then compare it to what I've been able to present in this video right now. And see the difference that just 3 months of putting myself in front of camera, coming up with scripts, coming up with ideas, recording, editing has done for my skill set and just my overall presentation. And know that for you, it will be similar. And if you start creating content and you get to that 3 month, 6 month wall, I hope that this video will let you know that it's okay, that if the only thing keeping you going is that you see improvement. And just know that at 6 months, you'll be even better. And in a year, you'll be even better. And having skill sets in this day and age, with all the things AI can do, can only be a good thing. So, as always, I really appreciate you watching. I hope you'll give this video a like. Think about subscribing if you want to follow more of my content. And we will talk again soon.